a little mediocre, not as good as it would have been, right? So it just got it and got it. It's like, oh, so I failed or I succeeded, whichever way you're going to look at different parts of the situation. And it doesn't matter. It's been a huge reflection for me. Like, wow, that does not work, and this does work, and I feel like I can trust myself more. But even not trying to like pull things out of the situation that are good, like, well, at least I learned this or whatever, because I hate doing that. That doesn't make me feel any better, really. And it's that realization of, well, God doesn't really care. It's there because it's going to teach you, and I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. So, thank you.
Yeah, you'll get this in spirit. Those of you who are in spirit, this is what spirit is all about. It's about how you're a mess-making machine, and once you learn how to celebrate your messes, life gets a whole lot easier. You know, I'm going to share this first here, and I'll come back to it. Do you remember, were you guys, I can't remember, were you guys here with Bonnie when I did an empowerment dialogue?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, part of what was really sweet about that for me, I mean, I love facilitating, but part of what was sweet was to remember for myself what it was like to be in her consciousness with that much self-criticism and that much self-expectation. And remember where a lot of you are right now. And then to realize that I can't remember the last time I had that kind of criticism or expectation. I don't criticize myself. I don't have expectations of myself. Because the kid is so in charge of the game that I'm pretty much all the time choosing in. Or having fun, not choosing in. You know? I don't stress over it. I try to imagine what it would be like to not have self-criticism or self-expectation. And you couldn't pay me enough money to go back to where I used to be, you know, really. You know how you know that you're growing? Because about every 5 years or so, you look back 5 years ago and you go, you're embarrassed. Mm-hmm. You're humiliated. Did I really do that? Was I that big of a no-no head? Oh. That's how you know you're growing. So
no, thank you. I will be myself.
Good job. James.
I just wanted to say, Trista and mediocre, they do not go in the same sentence. No matter what you ever do, what you've ever done, or what you will ever do. Trista and mediocre. No, they don't go in the same sentence. Ever.
Good job, acknowledge. Why make mediocre mistakes when you can make outstanding mistakes? Rick Warren mistakes. Cheryl. Yeah. Cheryl.
I want to acknowledge me and anybody else who has consistently stood up and done their new skill.
Yes.
Every class.
Yep.
And encourage those of you who have not been doing it. You've only got 2 more of these classes to do. To get up and do your new skill. Make it happen.
Good job.
So,
thank you. So at that time, you will receive a wonderful boost of energy. That energy will serve you to bring some wonderful goodies. You do not want to rob yourself of such good news. Okay, get ready for a visualization. And Cheryl, let's turn off the lights. Sandra.
Well, so I don't get why we avoid completion.
Like the play.
Why?
Yeah, the reason is because it goes back to compared to the fear of success, fear of failure is a wussy. I remember when I was doing a series of sessions with Lori, she was taking me through some breakthroughs. Actually, that was the round where I discovered the rage process. And what I was confronting was my fear of success. And I couldn't believe how, like, I think it was 2 or 3 rounds of a dozen sessions each. Every breakthrough that I was going through was another layer of the fear of success. This time it was, yeah, but if I'm successful, everybody will, not just a few friends and family, but the whole world will find out how screwed up I am. The next round it's like, oh, if I'm successful, I have to be responsible. And I'm already carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. You know what I mean? So it was layer after layer after, and by the time I was done with 25 layers, I was blown away. How many layers of fear there are around success? Ultimately, it's because success pushes us up against our emotional black hole. It's kind of like the final round of discovering, is there really something wrong with me? And when I'm working with my clients, even my percentage clients, it's amazing. I mean, I had a guy who was making $70,000, $80,000 a month. You know, I was making $6 grand a month off of one client. And then I could see it coming. 6 months ahead of time, I could see it coming. You're going to start sabotaging. You got to stop doing that. You got to do this. You got to do this. Couldn't do it. Gone. Okay.
Thank you.
You betcha. Okay. Get ready for a visualization. Uncross your arms and your legs. Let the energy flow properly. Send your favorite color of light down to the center of the earth and have the center of the earth send the same color of light up and connect with your core. Go to your favorite place in nature. And off in the distance, your sacred self, your highest self, your God self is coming. Notice how they walk, their countenance, special qualities that make up the unique being that you are. We're going to recall some of the value of the Movement to Mastery program. And if you recall any places where you would have liked to do things differently, any corrections, any place where you held back or didn't play all the way, just notice it. Given your correction, how are you willing to play now? What would you be willing to commit to choose and commit to? I'd like you to recall any wins from the first weekend intensive, blast off weekend, whether it was in December or January. Recall the feedback circles. Recall your interview or game plan, consequences or rewards, and any of these principles that you will take with you for the rest of your life. With each item, please raise your hand and put it back down again so I can see what it is. And during Blast Off weekend, we discussed the 3 keys to manifesting a dream. Having a conscious plan, a no-exits game with consequences and rewards, and the kind of emotional processing to move barriers that come to the surface, turning red lights into green lights. Emotional processing like recreation, moving emotional energy, empowerment dialogue, awakening style breakthroughs, good. Recall any wins from using recreation, don't want, do want, which came out of the coaching certification or the evening that was about don't want doing in the 7 powerful applications. Is each item, please raise your hand and put it back in again. Good. Recall any wins from moving your emotional energy or pure processing. And what of those that you will take with you for the rest of your life? Good job. Recall any value or wins that came out of the evening meetings. Like empowerment dialogue, or the power to enroll, or the genie game, or projection, or self-empowering circles. Good. Recall any and all wins related to empowerment dialogue and Gestalt dreamwork breakthroughs. How many times have you given yourself the gift of turning a red light, a stuck place, into a green light by using one of these breakthroughs? How many times will you be able to use these breakthroughs in your future, throughout your life, to make a big decision or get unstuck so you can move forward again? Good. Recall any value or wins related to success in relationships, and what you will take with you from modules like how to melt your favorite jerk, or the conversation for getting through, or the demonstrations of watching people demonstrate true communication. With each item, raise your hand and put it down again so I know how the room is doing. Recall any and all wins related to magical realms of the sacred self, and what you will take with you for the rest of your life from modules like centering, or the 4 steps to higher states, or the gifts I am receiving from you, or voices of the angels, or stepping into God's self. Good. Recall any and all wins from 30 days to peak performance and choosing to win in the way that worked for you. From your empowerment dialogue breakthroughs or awakening style breakthroughs, your in-house stretches, or feeding the homeless, or your public stretches at the gateway, or working your game plan, or your phone buddy, and what you will take with you for the rest of your life. Let it go. Good. If you participated or assisted at the awakening in the screen, I want you to imagine any and all value or wins from the awakening retreat and what you will take with you for the rest of your life. Good. Recall any and all wins from the workshop called Pinnacles of Presentation. Any and all wins related to making presentations or video feedback in your small group, using the 7 phases of design to design your Breakthrough Saturday, and what you will take with you for the rest of your life. Good. If you have participated or assisted at Lava, and if not, you can just imagine any and all wins that may come from the Lava Breakthrough Retreat. What did you give yourself in the rage process? What did you give yourself in learning how to do breakthroughs with your partner? How many awakening style breakthroughs have you given yourself to transform the red lights, a stuck place, into green lights? How many times will you be able to use these breakthroughs in your future throughout your life? Each item, raise your hand and put it back down again. Good. Imagine any and all wins related to your Breakthrough Saturday. Designing and creating, producing, enrolling, and facilitating your Breakthrough Saturday. And what you might take with you for the rest of your life. Good. Imagine any wins related to any other courses like Spirit of the Awakened Warrior, with the Connected Breath, the Ropes course, Fire Walk, processes about overcoming defensiveness. and the power of infinite progression, called the creation of the physical universe. Good. Most people are simply not brave enough or safe enough, not willing to attend experiential seminars because subconsciously they might get to look at themselves or their barriers. In what ways have you been big enough to look at and face your barriers and admit the truth and to get off it and to move to higher ground? With each item, raise your hand and put it back down again so I can see in the room this time. Good. I'd like you to recall what your triumphs in this program this last year has meant to those around you. In what way has your courage and your triumphs made a difference to others in your life? With each item, raise your hand and put it back down again. Recall as many of the ways that you have been a gift to others from what you've learned in Movement to Mastery. Let it go, don't be afraid to mix it up. This is the value of your courage to grow, to be a beacon of light. Let it go. Where did you win? Recall any of the little or big wins for yourself. Where did you win? Where did you win? Where did you win? Good. I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and as I count, you're going to find yourself feeling more and more refreshed and alive and awake and content and back in the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As soon as you're ready, get a partner and share with your partner back and forth any of your wins. Don't let one person do all the talking. You share one, they share one, you share one, they share one. Okay. Go.
That's why it's take for me to go to the meeting.
Okay.
I'm into the awakening. That's right.
I just survived serving it.
Totally.
And Gary.
That's what we
Right.
Those processes.
I always say more of what I want, less of what I want.
Getting in touch with one of the I am. I'm expressing my truth. More expressions Next, my question.
It's my sister. That's not my
Okay, wrap it up.
Yeah, a little bit more sex, just a little bit.
I'll give you another minute or two.
Thank you, Krista.
I'm running I'm running would be nice to have, absolutely. That's not where. Still modifying. Just because someone else thinks my
Okay, wrap it up.
I suppose it's going to bed 10 minutes before everybody
Oh, our things, yes, yes.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and
Okay, I want to mention the rest of the night's going to be about your Breakthrough Saturday, and I want to mention, is everybody here confident enough in their ability to facilitate somebody through an empowerment dialogue breakthrough from start to finish, or do we need to go through, because usually people get stuck at the beginning, do we need to go through the beginning to review it, or are you feeling like you've done it enough times, you've seen it enough times, that you can take somebody from the beginning?
I would like to. I'd like to review.
From the beginning, I get second.
Okay?
Yeah, Al.
So if you have the handout, you should turn to the short form. Go ahead, James.
My request is, can you email us the short form? If I email you,
Go on the internet, see if it's in the downloadable stuff,
Okay.
and if it's not, see if somebody in your group will email it to you. And then as a last resort, if nobody will, then I will. That's a good example of the kind of things that I call minutia that really get in the way of the time that I could spend on more important things. Okay, so first thing is setup. You know, make sure the client is centered, make sure that they're safe. Then the person puts the complaint, you know, they tell you what their complaint is, and you have them put it in the chair in front of them, and you have fun spewing in all your anger. Now, it's important at that point, you might want to write this down, that they say to the whatever, to the person, to the car, to the cancer, to the situation, you treat me like this, you treat me like that. I should put that in the form.
And that's on number 2, right?
Yeah, and the reason why it's important to use that format is because when they go to own their projections, they're going to be identifying that critical voice that that thing represents. And that format works. If you don't use that format, if you don't say, you treat me like this, you treat me like that, it's going to be much harder for them to own their projection.
You can also use like you make me feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you say, good. Now let's own the projection. Say the same words, but say it to yourself. I'll read them to you because you're taking notes. You go through, just like I did with Bonnie, go through this one, go through that one. And you say, now every time that they own their, every time that they say that to themselves, you say, how does that part of them, how does that part of you do that to you? How does that part of you do this to you?
Say that again. So they own
How does this part of you do it to you? Like you've written down, you know, this man who I'm trying to date ignores me. So when they're on the projection, you say to themselves, you ignore me. How does that part of you ignore you?
So you do this before you switch to the other side and say, I tell you why you do it, right?
Oh yeah, all
Okay.
of this is before.
Right. So you do this
Part of
when
number
that tree. Who does this critical voice remind you of? Put yourself in front of you and say the same exact critical message to yourself, and then you say, how do you do this to yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Gary, is it like a crucial part that you ask, like what critical parent this reminds, like what parent it reminds them of?
No.
Is that like important at all?
No.
Okay,
Sometimes it's fun.
okay, but not important.
I'm going to say it again because I don't get the room as conscious. First, they're yelling at this boyfriend or this man that they're trying to date that's ignoring them. You ignore me. Now they're earning a projection. Now they're saying to themselves, Sally, you ignore me. So I say, how does that part of Sally ignore her? Well, she gets busy and gets distractions and does everything but pay attention to me. Great.
So did you say, we say that because then they see how they do it to themselves. They
Yeah.
can own it better.
You have to get conscious about
Yeah,
it. But
once they're
up
saying-
until you ask them that question, they know some part of it's ignoring them, but they don't have any clue how they're doing it.
Right.
So it's not really owning it.
Right. Okay, great.
So after they get through with 5 or 10 of those, then you say, good. Now ask them why. Why do you treat me like this? Why do you do all this horrible stuff to me? And then you say switch. And the moment they switch, you say just the first thing that pops in your head. And start with the phrase, I'll tell you why you do it. And then let them argue back and forth a couple of rounds. Because after the parent says, well, I'll tell you why, because if I didn't kick your butt, you wouldn't do anything, you lazy SOB. And then switch chairs. Well, that doesn't work for me. All I want to do is rebel when you do that stuff to me. Well, if I didn't do anything, you just do nothing. You got to let them argue a couple times back and forth, okay?
People switch, when they ask why and they switch, don't you ever have people that switch and they're like, I don't know, nothing's coming?
All the
How do you
time.
handle that?
All the time. Whenever anybody in any private session or workshop says, I don't know, I say, good, take your time, look. I don't know. Well, take your time, look. It's there. I don't let them off the hook. Take your time, relax, take a deep breath. I promise you it's there. You just need to look. You're not looking. They know.
Great.
Okay, now you let them identify the non-working behaviors. That's where you draw the circle. Okay, now this side is going to say to this side, well, what you do that doesn't work is, so as, let's say, this side, like with Bonnie, this side was identifying what this, well, actually, we didn't do it with Bonnie, but in your dialogues, if one side says to the other side, well, you always do this. You always put your head in the sand, then you put those old ways up on the paper, underneath probably the child. Then the child will tell you to the parent, and by the way, you don't ever worry about who's who. Listen to this. Don't ever worry about who's parent and who's child. That's just unnecessary energy that messes you up and confuses you. And a lot of times they look like they're switching, so don't worry about it. Take a wild guess, but don't worry about it. Okay?
I was doing one with someone, and it didn't matter when they switched chairs. It was like the parent was just having a conversation with itself. And then I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You
don't worry about it. You let them keep talking.
Well, what I mean is it's like, it wasn't like I was confused about which is the child and which, it was like there was no child.
I get it.
Okay.
You don't worry about it. You let them keep talking. They will sort themselves out, and then after that particular phase, it'll become obvious who's who. Sometimes it really looks like parent becomes child, and child becomes parent. And you're like, hey, stick in your chair.
Each other,
Yeah.
and there was no difference whatsoever. So I
I
was
got it.
really thrown off by that.
I got it. So don't get thrown off by it.
So
Just let them keep talking.
and okay.
Good. Okay, Ronan?
The impairment dialogue's not on the website. You do need to email it out.
Okay, so email it to each other. If nobody on the team has it, then I'll email it to them. Okay, so parent says to child, well, you do all this stuff, like you hide out, you stick your head in the sand, and you lie around, don't do anything, and then parent says, well, child says, well, what you do is you get bossy and you criticize and you crack the whip and you never give me any time and I never get to take a bubble bath. And so now you're going to list both of their old ways. Now the reason why that's important that you list what each one is doing is because years ago I found out that I could save literally almost an hour worth of empowerment dialogue by simply listing the old ways, and when it came time for them to negotiate, all they had to do was the opposite of what their old ways were. If the old ways is getting quiet, then speak up. That's a new skill. You know what I'm saying? Just exactly the opposite. So now you draw the circles and you put what they want. Because one side says, look, I don't mean to just hide out and do nothing. It's just that I can't do anything when you're yelling and screaming at me and being critical and cracking the whip.
No!
Oh, God, I know. I'm jumping.
You'll think I will be myself.
Way to interrupt.
So I have a question about, it's important that they are coming up with the negotiation though, right? And secondly, when they come up with things that are kind of ethereal and not tangible.
Then you bring them back to reality.
Great, okay, that's what I thought.
And you can tell them directly, all of this is too ethereal, it's not tangible, it's not specific, it's not measurable. Tell them.
What does that mean, that word?
Ethereal?
Yeah.
It means spacey, spirity, airy-fairy, cosmic.
Not
No.
measurable. Not measurable.
Not reality.
Okay,
Just Twilight Zone-ish.
okay,
Fuzzy.
okay.
What if you can tell they're just so in their left brain? I did, and I've worked, like somebody I was working with, like he just kept analyzing, like, well, that doesn't really fit, or I don't know, or I don't know what this person does. I mean, it's just so in his left brain. And I was just like, we don't have 3 hours for you to get to this. Like, what do you do?
With those kind of people, I'll usually pretty quickly point out that they're over-analyzing.
Yeah.
I'll say, I just want you to notice that you're just really over-analyzing this, okay? And staying in your head kind of keeps you safe. You like being there. That's a safe place for you. But we're not going to really make much progress. I do this a lot in my Genie games, too, because people, when they do a Genie game with me, they like to take, the first half hour and telling me something about their life. It's like, no, we're here to do a process. I don't need all that stuff. Just do this. So the more experience you have as a coach, the more you realize that you have to really draw the boundaries and guide people into the process. And with the other thing about left brain is that for those people, empowering dialogue is really good for them because they don't have to cry. They don't have to get into touchy-feely and all that stuff. They can just think their way through it. That's fine. That's fine. That's a goal for them is not to get them into touchy-feely. The goal for them is to help them make some movement, to get further. And eventually, they can do processes like connected breath and different things that will help them to get more in touch with their feelings.
So that's really interesting because as I've worked with Seth, he will repeat a phrase until he does get in touch with his feelings.
Well, that's
Is
smart.
that better?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
smart. That's better. He's just more experienced. He knows what would work. When Laura and I do breakthroughs on each other, pretty much I do my own breakthrough, or she does her own breakthrough, because we know the game. We know our body has body memory, like that.
So it would be good to encourage them to go that way, but it doesn't have to look that way. Is that right?
Doesn't have to, especially with a left brain.
So if you see an opportunity where if they say something and you can tell that something changes, and can you just have them repeat it back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you saw what I did with Bonnie, where I could tell there was some feeling there, but she wasn't going to let herself get to it. So I just said a couple things, and bam.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Maybe you have access, I can copy, mine has notes all over it, but it is the short form, and people who want this tonight, I can copy it.
I think we only got a hard copy.
Say what?
I think we only got the paper copy.
Oh, you guys want it electronically?
No, I want
I can scan it then.
Mine doesn't have notes on it. I'll let somebody make copies if they want to.
I have another question.
Huh? Yeah.
I have another question. So if they're going through and they're, you do this to me, you do that to me, and you can identify that a whole bunch of them are really similar, can you kind of sum them up in a couple of the key phrases
Right. Like
and
sometimes,
not go through every
sometimes I'll go through a page of you do this to me, that to me, and I'll just say, okay, now say this one, and I'll skip 3 or 4, say that one, because all I need is the main one.
Okay. I think I thought it had to be every single one and was taking too long. Great.
Something I want you to know about human beings is that they do unbelievable things for attention. And so here's a coach. Here's somebody whose attention I get to have. And if you don't draw a boundary and say, this is a 50-minute hour, or this, or you're paying me for an hour and a half, and we're running out of time, you know what I mean? They're like children. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. I mean, literally, clients, if you don't draw a boundary, will take 4 or 5 hours at a time. You don't have that available. Okay.
I have been with some facilitators that want to take 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, Lori.
Me as a client, I want to take 1 or 1.5 hours. And so
I'm with you, Jane.
sometimes it's hard
You
for
have to
me.
draw your boundaries with your facilitators.
Yeah.
You have to draw your boundaries with everybody.
It's like I have to be somewhere at this time. So
It really blows my mind how hard it is for people to draw boundaries. Just to say no. I'm proud of you, it's so hard for people to just say, no, thank you, I'll be myself.
I totally got in a situation where I was in sellout because I was just like, well, I guess that's really rude for me to just cut you off in the middle of this therapeutic process. And he knew it. He was going to get everything out of it. But is it okay to say, I have an hour and a half, and we can go as quickly through this process as possible or not? But either way, even if you're right in the middle of emotion, hour and 30 minutes is it. So choose to use your time like however you want. I'll support you. Is that okay? That's not like heartless, right?
That's exactly what I said to you when you came in for the last session.
Yeah.
I said, you've got a choice here. We've scheduled an hour. You can either get as much going as you can now if you want to start an empowerment dialogue and then finish up later, or we can wait till next week and schedule 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was okay for me to I'm halfway through it, and I had some awesome insights from where we're at. We're still in the middle of it, but next week. So
yeah, Lava, you're going to learn how to wrap up an awakening style breakthrough halfway through it.
Cool.
Wrap it up halfway through it?
Yeah. Like, let's say you schedule 2 hours, but it's obvious the person is going to need 3. How do you complete it when you're out of time so that they're not left hanging?
Yeah.
It's very simple. Very simple way
I
to
don't
do
remember that.
it.
So, actually, driving here today, I was thinking about how people, including myself, get into the story, and you just have to tell your story. And however, in my experience, that story drains me, and so I'm less effective in doing, my healing work. And so I was thinking, man, I just need to tell them, forget the story, let's just do this process.
You've heard me do that. how many times in a workshop, in front of everybody, bottom line it. I don't need the story. I just need the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't help them. It doesn't help us. You know, it's funny. When I was 21, I think, I was a counselor at a community high school where people would come back as adults and try to get their diploma again, because they didn't finish high school. And I was doing human relations, kind of stuff I do now, and I was getting incredibly burned out. And I didn't know why. I just was getting burned out. Like, I didn't even want to see another client, right? And when I finally dug deep enough to find out what the truth was I wasn't telling the truth to my clients. I was listening to their stories. Well, you know, enough of stories and you're going to get burned out. So I decided, well, time to tell the truth. And the moment that I just started drawing my boundary, saying, no, I don't need that. I need this. Bam. In other words, if they're not making me happy, I'm not serving them.
Really?
You have to teach them how to make you happy. This doesn't make me happy. This would make me happy. Now do this. You understand?
Well, no, not really.
She told you no.
Just give it a possibility, Sandra, that whenever you or any of the client comes into my office, their job is to satisfy me. Because if they're not satisfying me, they're doing some nonsense, some BS. Tails aren't wagging. They're in their stuff. And the reason they came to me is because they're selling out. What you know about every client is they wouldn't have a problem if they weren't selling out. So let's get to it so you can be happy again.
I just thought your perspective was interesting. That they're to make you happy.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true. You make me happy, okay? And then you'll get served, and that'll be $100. Thank you. You know, that's it. That's how you do it.
What about the part where I'm responsible for my own emotions?
Yeah.
And if you're not happy or you are happy, then you're owning whatever part of bullshit or shit.
Yeah, and the way I'm owning it is by coaching you on how to make me happy.
Okay, cool. I can do that.
You know, if you're ever around people who really honor their truth, you know, you'll learn a lot about how people who do that really do that.
Yeah.
And they basically are in charge of how anybody treats me. You know?
Well, this reminds me of teaching piano.
Yeah.
If my students aren't practicing, if they're not making any progress,
Yes.
I'm not happy.
Yes.
And that relationship is going to end if it continues.
Yeah.
How do you really feel about that?
That's a perfect example. That is a perfect example. That's how any coach, piano teacher, track coach, wrestling coach, you know, how any coach or teacher needs to operate, because if she just lets her clients do what they feel like doing, nothing is going to happen. She's going to be bored out of her mind. The client isn't going to get served. Okay. Anything else?
Okay. This is relating doing what works, but back to empowerment dialogue. The part we were talking about the complaints. When, you know, people have a lot of complaints, but what I notice and what I think is most effective is when the complaints trigger them or relate to their black hole. Those seem to be the most meaningful complaints to focus on.
Yep.
So we can pick those out of the list of whatever, or put them together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right. Misty.
So, skipping that they're there to make you happy. Really, it's when you're not setting that boundary and you're letting them stay in their stuff and spin and stay in it. So in reality, that's how you end up with people who are in therapy for 20 years and they're still where they were
Very
when they
little
walked in the
progress.
door.
Right.
So by
Because they're
setting
just
that
getting
boundary,
attention for their stories.
yes, setting the boundary, you it's like snapping them out of it.
Yeah.
So that then they can get a clearer
Yeah.
perspective and start
Yep.
from that point.
Yep. I'll never forget, I had a client that somebody else paid for her because she had slipped into a place. It wasn't a psychotic break, but it was a place where when she talked to you, she wouldn't make any sense. It was like gobbledygook. You know, she'd talk to you, but it was gobbledygook. And so she came in, and I just showered her for about 5 sessions with just strength shower stuff. Just showered her and showered her and showered her and showered her and showered her. Finally, on the 6th session, I thought she's feeling safe enough. So I said, "Can I show you how you come across to people?" And, okay. So I just imitated her, and she snapped back into reality. It was like, that's how I come across. And instantly, she started making sense again. Now, if I had gone with her game, instead of making me happy, she'd still be in La La Land in some institution. Okay, Marie.
I was just going to ask, and a reminder for the group that when we do this with our Breakthrough Saturdays, that we don't get trying to tackle the biggest issue or problem.
Yes, right.
Go something for more on the light side.
Right. Excellent. Excellent reminder. Everybody should remember that.
What's a good way to communicate that to them?
You just simply say to them, look, today is not about tackling your biggest, darkest, deepest stuff. Today is about trying a little one, a medium one, a small one, so you can make some real movement and see the power. We want you to have a success today. We don't want you to get stuck trying to pick up 500 pounds and then feel like it's a failure. Okay. So, strong recommendation. What you don't want to do is be alone with somebody in your Breakthrough Saturday with 2 or 3 new people watching, and then get stuck and not be able to get beyond it. So if you don't have enough practice under your belt, I strongly recommend that you get with each other and practice. Do some on each other. Do a few on each other so you feel like you've got it down.
You never know this way.
No, you have to have it memorized. I have a question about what we write on the paper. What do we write in the circle? The non-working paper.
No.
What they want.
What they want. What they want.
The non-working.
On the outside, up at the top, is their own way. Inside the circle is what they do want. What parent wants, what child wants. So you can show them the circle and say, what do you notice about that? They go, wow, it's the same thing. They both want the same thing.
And then, so at that point, that is the, oh, that's the sweetheart. Okay. And then at the bottom, then you give them new skills.
New skills.
Got it.
Right?
I was discussing with our group, we were under the impression that we had to do a full empowerment dialogue in front of the room before we broke off into our little...
I don't know who the heck made that up.
That's what Casey told me.
Too long.
Somebody is making stuff up.
Okay, that's why I want clarification.
So you would not recommend doing a demo then?
No, you don't have enough time.
Well, that's why I was thinking.
You rub their nose in it. You get them ready for a breakthrough. Say, good, now we've got 6 people or whatever people who can do an empowerment dialogue. And by the way, if other people want to come and help out doing an empowerment dialogue, other people from other groups can. Nobody's expected, just the people in that group that day. And then they say we got 6 people and we've got 12 people in the group. So we're going to have 2 people per facilitator. One of you can watch and one of you can go through the breakthrough. You only have time for each person to do 1 empowerment dialogue break.
Now, if we spend money on our copies, or like we're making some cupcakes and whatnot, is the money that we turn in for the deposits, do we want to keep receipts and we can be reimbursed for that, or?
What does your paper say?
I don't remember. It's my empowerment.
Read your paper. Read your Breakthrough Saturday guidelines, guys. Come on, you should have everything with you every single meeting.
It's here with me, Gary. It's just
then look it up.
Papers.
It's at the bottom. I'll give you a hint. You have a limited budget. you want to do cupcakes and things like that, you're probably going to end up taking it out of your pocket. Okay. Take a 15-minute break, and when you come back, we'll talk more about Breakthrough Saturday. Oh, before I let you go, one last recommendation. Between now and your Breakthrough Saturday, you want to do your video presentation like we did where we had you guys get in circles of 3 or 4. One person got up, did their presentation, then they did their prelude, then they did it, and you want to do that several times before your Breakthrough Saturday. In other words, you can get in a circle, and you can practice the friendly demonstrations with each other. So you can see that you're doing a good job on your presentation. Okay? Okay, take a break. 15 minutes. Help me keep track of the show. Emily?
You're just put on the
What's
pretend
happening?
scenes on us.
Total body modification. Were you not here when Laura talked about that? During creating your reality? Oh, you weren't here for creating your
I
reality?
came and did it. She did the first Saturday, I did the second Saturday.
I got it. Laura talked about it because up at the Awakening, Laura and Christina are using this new technology, you know. And up at the Awakening, people would get migraines or get nauseous, and she'd do it on them in 10 minutes. And I know that Leslie didn't believe her and said, "No, this is a 3-hour. I have to sleep." You know, Laura said, "Give me 5 minutes."
Time.
It worked on me.
I have to testify that when you are the well-being person and you have people that can do that, it makes you feel safe being a well-being person. Because you have people who can do that.
That's right. Yeah.
She helped Robert with his blood sugar because he left all his testing supplies and stuff.
Yeah, she helped me with my digestion.
Great.
Is Joel coming back?
I don't know.
think so.
No.
He's
not
he's
back.
not, like, no, he's not.
He's not in room information.
Right, I just was curious. So Evelyn is coming back, and anybody know where Sheila went?
No, but let's find her.
She like,
Well, she was outside in the grass.
In the grass?
Yeah, she was outside right here in the grass.
Did you get my voice?
Okay. Announcements. Quiet. Spirit of the Awakened Warrior, if you haven't yet signed up and you don't see a way to go, please talk to me. Don't assume that you cannot go, okay? On Saturday, we announced that if you want to make payments to get to Spirit, you can make 3 payments. Again, talk to me, okay? If you do not participate in this year's Spirit to Awakened Warrior, yoo-hoo! If you do not participate, I would like you to really consider assisting. Okay? I know that Marie and Sarah would really appreciate your help, and it will certainly not hurt you to pick up or review that material. If I was going to assist and I hadn't done Spirit, the 2 days I would pick would be Friday, and I would pick Sunday morning. Okay? If any of you did Spirit last year, I would definitely make Sunday morning, and any other day you want to. But don't miss Sunday morning. For those of you who did it last year, remember, I'm not going to ruin the surprise, but that's when they get surprised when they come into the room. Okay?
I know for assisting you, have them do 2 shifts. For those who have done that workshop before, can they assist?
They can do as much as they want.
Okay.
If they've done the workshop, they're going to sit the whole time.
Okay.
Okay, Cheryl?
If I haven't done the workshop, can I assist at all?
No. You can assist at 2 shifts. You can assist Sunday morning and then any other shift that you want to shift.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And I would do Sunday and Friday probably.
Okay.
Where does this take place?
Here?
Oh, okay. So it's not an overnighter. Okay.
Go home every night.
Oh, okay. And we do the firewalk here too?
No.
Oh.
On the carpet.
Hi, America.
So we go
We bought an extra tough carpet.
Well, no, not in the room, in the parking lot.
Right there.
Okay, so Wednesday night is here. Thursday night is here. Friday all day long, 9:30 to whatever, is here. And then Connected Breath is here Friday night. Okay? Then Saturday morning, early, you will go to Lehigh, where the ropes course and firewalk is. And you'll be there all day until about 11-ish. Okay? Then you'll go home, sleep, come back here at 9:30 on Sunday morning. You'll be here till 4 or 5.
Thank you.
Okay? Good.
Can I say, please, everybody, make sure you set your intention that it will be easy to find your way there. Otherwise, it might be difficult.
We're going to make sure we get good maps. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Well, Laura writes really great directions, very simple. It's just that morning you're so razzled that you can read very simple directions and not be able to make sense of it. So I would run it by somebody else and make sure that you're reading it right. Just like lava, every year we have somebody who doesn't take the turnoff on I-15 and they end up in Pocatello. Okay. So, raise your hand if you're willing to help Marie and Sarah out by assisting at that workshop. Raise your hand. Marie, you want to write these down? Okay.
Yes.
Catherine,
What do you mean? What if we're doing the workshop?
then you're not assisting.
Oh,
Marie,
Raise your hand if you're willing to assist.
Friday and Friday night, and
oh, she's.
Okay, I'm just gonna write down names and we'll get with you on the.
okay.
Sorry. Okay. Who else wants going to help assist? Is it
Jane,
I'm gonna
Cheryl.
sign up.
anybody else? Or is that it?
I would if I could with the baby.
Yeah, right now we have 27 people signed up, and some really amazing people are coming to it. So I'm excited. Like Kevin, the guy who teaches TBM, and his wife, they're coming. It's great.
Yes, and please hold intention with me that I can get someone from my son's rehab center, Narcan, to come. It would be a huge thing for any of them to come and take that back to their program.
If there's anybody that's a decision maker, ask them to call me, and I will do my best to enroll them.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Breakthrough Saturday. Okay. Who is resisting enrollment? Raise your hand.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really proud of myself. I've actually had a conversation with people.
No.
Okay, good.
I'm resisting, but I'm still
Okay.
willing. I think that Catherine and I are.
Who's in group 1?
We don't know our numbers. Oh, we're number 1. Oh, yeah.
Number 1.
Group 1.
Are we number 1? We're number 1. We're going to switch to be number 1.
We're group 3 on the first Saturday, so we are.
Okay, group number 1. Okay. How many deposits do you have?
Who's the leader? Casey's not here. Okay, but that's group 1.
How many times do I need to ask this? How many deposits do you have?
None.
0.
Well, wait, if we're paying for our child, does that count as a
Yeah, that's
deposit?
1.
Woohoo!
Okay, group number 2. How many deposits do you have?
What? I don't know
Group
what
number
group I am.
2.
You don't know what group? No, I mean, I know my group, I don't know what number we are.
We're 2.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Do we take debit?
How many deposits do you have?
Do you take debit?
Yeah,
Carol
is there a way to, so we can get credit
Just call
cards
Carol and
processed?
Oh,
they call Carol, you call
Yes.
Carol. Actually, if I was on the team, I would get their information, their number and all that stuff, the area code,
And then call
all
Carol.
that stuff, and call Carol. Because if you have them call Carol, it could be 2 weeks and then they won't come.
Okay.
Okay? So how many deposits does group number 2 have? None. Okay, group number 3.
We have
Any
none,
deposits?
but we're so going to win this contest.
But what? When did you become a contest?
I think we better have
Just
fun.
now.
We need a contest with ourselves.
We will so win.
Yeah, you will prove your worth by who wins.
Thank you for saying dialogue in my head.
Quiet.
Is our Breakthrough Saturdays like the other workshops where younger kids, like 12 and older, or that age?
From
group?
9 on up.
9 on up, okay.
Great.
Unless I have my baby, then my baby's coming.
Okay. So let me remind you, okay, as it says in your Breakthrough Saturday guidelines, if you don't have 10 paid enrollments, you don't graduate.
It's $39.95, right?
Yes, $39.95. unless they wait till the day of the thing and then it's 49.
Okay, and then each group has up to 3 buy one,
Two
get
for
one free,
ones.
2 for ones. Okay.
Yep. But you can decide who that is.
Why am I so
Okay.
scared to enroll people?
Say it again.
Why am I so scared to enroll people? I mean, I can hear.
Everybody's afraid of enrollment because it's like rejection. Somebody stepping on something that's important to you, like politics or religion. Okay.
When I tell myself that I'll just keep it to myself, like it's just my way of, it's my way of being private and just being like, you know, I'm going to keep my boundaries. I'm not going to force anything on anybody else, right? That's what my justification is in my head.
That's a typical justification. Catherine,
Sorry.
that's a typical justification, okay? Truth is that's crap. That's just you justifying the fact that you're scared as shit to actually put it on the line. And it means you're not committed at all to being successful. Because enrollment is success. It's not like success. It's not akin to success. Enrollment is success.
What if I'm scared? That's valuable, by the way. Thank you. What if I'm scared that the person I'm inviting won't be able to handle the level of workshop that I'm inviting them to do?
Yeah.
That's
You know,
another
when we used to
justification.
call out of the phone book a random numbers, random list, the people who have scarcity issues would always get the people on the phone who have scarcity issues. The person who said, well, what if somebody comes to a workshop and then they flip out and, you know, they have a psychotic break or something. So, of course, who does she get on the random list? The only person in the whole 40 years I've been doing this whose sister did a workshop and had a psychotic break. So, you got to understand, you know, I enroll you into $5,000 courses. We're asking you to enroll people into a $40 one-day deal. That's a good baby step. That's a good baby step. That's right. You're shaking in your boots. You know what I mean?
Thanks for putting it in perspective, Gary.
$5,000, 9 days.
40 bucks.
You know, it's a very real possibility in the next few months, probably by the end of the year, that I'm going to come into some significant money. And what that has done for my consciousness is it's really given me perspective on what it took to get to where I am now. Like, step by step, what did it take? And I'm having really interesting memories come up about, oh yeah, that was when I learned that. That was when I learned this. The first workshop I ever did, I was Matt Gift, who was brilliant, was the head of psychology at Westminster, one of the best Gestalt therapists in the country. And he had a Gestalt Institute. And he said, if you want to, I'll let you do a workshop here. So I'd never done a workshop for the public. So I thought, okay, I'll put flyers up all over town. And people would come. And I think I had 1 or 2 people come. You know. And I wanted, you know, I wanted to be successful. But I had to face the fact that I actually had to talk to people. Not just put up flyers. Okay? So I want you to understand, you had a night where we did Power to Enroll, and I wish we would have had Success Beyond Sales this year. I think Sarah's wanting to produce it next year because she's been watching the DVD and she's blown away by that workshop. So I hope we put it on next year's calendar. But you all had a night where I demonstrated, I don't remember who was the demonstration, but I demonstrated that between you and you know, is what you don't want to say. And if you don't want to say it in the enrollment conversations, you don't want to say it here and here and here. It's all over. So I'm going to teach you right now how to make enrollment fun so you actually have a success with your Breakthrough Saturday. Okay? Now I want you to know, this is what I've learned over the last 40 years about what I do when I know there's calls that I need to make, but I keep avoiding or procrastinating or, you know, letting my negative association get the better of me. Okay? This is what I do. Okay? This is how to make enrollment fun. Okay? Number 1, you call together. I'll call up Morris or one of my friends. Hey, look, I need to make some calls. I'm not making them. Can we schedule a time to call together? Sure, you betcha. So we get to his office or go to his house or someplace and do it from 11 to 1, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if I schedule the time to get together, I know I'm going to make the calls. Wilbur's not going to get the best of me. Why? Because I scheduled it. And he knows I'm going to be there for that purpose, so I'm not going to get out of it. And it doesn't matter if I'm triggered or upset or something's going on with me. You know, I make the calls. That's the only difference between the leaders and the ordinary folk, is that Wilbur does not stop them. That's the only difference. Yeah, I'm triggered. I'm upset. I really got knocked for a loop. Great, I'm going to move some emotional energy and then I'm going to do it. So I call together. And by the way, if one of you wants to take my keys, I'll give you a set of keys. You can come to the office anytime, day or night. Grab a group of people, get in different corners of the room, get in the different rooms, get in the hallway, get in the boardroom, make the calls. And then when somebody rejects you, I'll go through the list, okay? Number 1, before you start calling, you embrace the brat to remove any resistant energy. I hate making phone calls. I'm never going to make phone calls. You know, move the emotional energy. Number 2, generate enthusiasm. Yeehaw! Number 3, get out your 3x5 cards that have your personal dream and your highest purpose written on it. Now that most of you have been through the awakening, you should know how to do this. You know, I want to be the world's greatest mother. I want to be the world's greatest facilitator. And my dream for the world is heaven on earth, or a world that works for everyone, or whatever it is, okay? And you look at those 3x5 cards and you decide, what is this hour or this evening's worth of phone calls going to be about? What dream am I going to make the calls as if this dream depends on it? That's how you do it. Listen.
What was the one after embrace the brat and emotional energy?
Generate enthusiasm.
And then it was a 3x5 with your vision for
The next one is to set your intention so that your little invisible antenna talks to their little invisible antenna. Listen, if I didn't know this one, we would have lost the lodge. He was very clear that he was going to turn us down. And if my little invisible antenna wasn't talking to his little invisible antenna, and I didn't use skills, and I didn't recreate his message completely and make him feel completely heard, and then said, can I offer a proposal, and then, you know, enrolled him into that, it would have never happened. And I can't tell you how many times in my life that happens. Now, who here needs to remember how to set your intention? I did it right before the homecoming for those in the awakening. 3 steps. Number 1, get a picture of how you want to be, a visual. Number 2, feel how deeply you want to be like your visual. You want to be like your picture. Number 3, from the depth of your feeling, set your intention.
And feel from your feelings, because that's
From the depth of your feeling.
because that's your energy.
That's your electricity to create some juice. Remember that communication is not verbal. You remember this from Pinnacles of Presentation, I think, is where we did exercises about say it in gibberish and then say it without any words. Every time you communicate about anything, it's not in the communication, it's not in the words, it's in the little invisible antenna, talking to their invisible antenna. When somebody blows you off or hangs up or rejects you, which they're not rejecting you, they're just rejecting whatever your offer is, then go to somebody else that you're calling with and rag with them. I can't believe that person's such an idiot. What a jerk. Have fun sharing back and forth about the idiots that hang up on you. You know, move your emotional energy again and then get back in a good space and go back to the next call. That's how to have fun with results.
What if you know people who are really familiar with the word? Like somebody like Morris or somebody
Yeah.
like Nelson.
Yeah.
I hesitate in inviting them because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm going to teach them anything. Like they put on these workshops, you know, Nelson's put on these workshops, or Morris, I don't know how many he's done. What are your thoughts on that?
It's very cute. That's a very cute logo. Yeah, yeah. You know who's most likely to come? Those people. You know how many Breakthrough Saturdays Lois come to? Dozens. You know how many Carols come to? A lot.
We call this like Carol and Lori.
No, whoever enrolled them first.
Call first.
It's throwing in.
Here's what you do. Hang up the phone on Wilbur and you call him up and you say, hey, you're probably busy, but you know what? I would love to get your support. It would really mean a lot to me if you could support my group and come and watch our Breakthrough Saturday. And I'd love to show off for you. That's it. They'll be here. And by the way, you would be doing them a huge service to remind them what it's like to be here. Yeah. Acknowledge. So did everybody get that? How to have fun when you're doing enrollment? Is anybody here willing to take the keys and schedule with the group a time when you can call so you have more fun doing it instead of doing it alone?
Let's call right now.
Well, when we're done at 9:45, you can. By the way, I'll teach you something I learned over the years about intention. People would always say the best time to call is this time or this time or this time. Well, my schedule doesn't fit that. So I have to call at all times, day or night. Okay? I found out that if I set my intention, I find people home. The rules of when people are home don't apply to me.
What about what's too late? What's a good rule of thumb for too late? You can't call past 9.
I would say 9:30. Okay. Now, I'm going to hand you out some lists. I was going to hand you out some lists.
Set your intention, Carrie.
Do me a favor. Share with your partner what I just shared with you about having fun, and somebody pair up with KC, and somebody pair up with Emily so that they can learn what I just taught you. Go.
Actually,
I'm sorry, I had to go there. That's how bad it was.
I love it.
Well, we can, so my group, no, like, we have another one scheduled. So we're doing the rest so what we did was we decided on one. We're excited about it. And then
agnostic.
Okay.
That's for everybody. And if you ever talk about something.
Right.
No, I just
Yeah.
don't understand.
I mean, you want to don't let
Yeah,
something like
well,
that stop going. Okay, everybody, I need you to do me a big favor and sit with your small groups, not spread out, right here in the circle. So, you know, group 1, group 2, group 3, sit
Group
right
number
here.
1 that's number 3, come over here. The winners.
The winners. The number oneers.
The pool group comes over here.
Sorry, we're already not.
Where's the Thank you.
I'm gonna have to pass up.
Yep.
That's what I get 'em. Let's wait until we get
No, over here, 24. Are we grouping for Gary or it's
How hard can this be? Group 1. Group 1. Okay. Group number 3 right there. Group number 2 right here. Group number 1 right there. Please,
I don't know what number.
quickly and quietly.
Okay, all right, so, excuse me.
We're just trying to
lady.
reset.
We're resisting being number 1.
Oh, we're not moving.
You're not moving chairs. You're sitting in the area. Randy, I didn't say to make a circle. I said to get in a straight line, but in the area of your group.
Sandra Jones isn't here now.
She's on.
Okay, let me show you what we're doing. So this is group 1 over here. This is
No, we're
group 3. This is group 2, and group number 1. Okay, good. What we're going to do is we're going to hand you out lists. Quiet. We're going to hand you out lists. Now these lists are the people who've done workshops recently. In other words, they're the best list to call because they're most in touch with what's going on. Okay? So this is going to be lists from like Tatwick Tides and Unity and you know, creating your reality and different things that have happened recently. Okay? So we're going to hand out 2 lists per group. Then at least 2 people will have that list. Okay? Go ahead.
Here's 2 copies of this list.
You can make as many copies as you want. Here, divide those up. Here you go. 2 more.
And you might know.
2 lists for Unity Church.
Oh, yeah, we should all make these.
Question. Gary, I have a question.
Yeah.
On the one that starts with spirit, not all the columns have numbers.
That list, quiet. Let me have everybody's attention. Did you hear Sherilyn's question?
No.
The first list I handed out starts with spirit in the left-hand column. Then it goes to, what is it? Is it relationships? Lava. Yeah, because that's what's coming up, okay? That's simply our list, the staff list, for who's in what workshop coming up, so we know who's coming to the workshops. The only column that has phone numbers is the first column.
Bless you.
So the only way that, oh, they all now out? Okay, good, thank you. So all you need to know on that list is who's in spirit, and if there's another name that doesn't have a number, it's probably in one of the other lists. Okay? Great. Now, let me show you how this is going to go. Okay? Group number 1. In all of your lists, you're only going to call the last name that starts from A to J.
What if you've already begun having conversations with people who aren't in that outfit?
Then you should let these groups know, don't call that person, I want to talk to them. Okay, and we'll do that in a minute. Okay? Group number 2, on all your lists, you're only going to call last names of L through, I can't remember the number.
A through J.
A through J,
So K.
L through,
No, it starts with K.
okay, K through R. Group 3, you're going to call S through Z. That way you will not be calling the same people. And you might end up, if you're in a group doing A through Z, you might find out that you're calling the same people because they did several workshops. So you want to kind of watch that. Keep an eye on that. Sandra.
Well, except I want to invite my peeps.
Then you will. You get first choice.
Oh.
If you want to do all the Unity people and you want everybody to ignore that list, just say so and we'll have them ignore that list.
Wow, I don't even know everyone on this list.
There might have been new people that came to Unity.
Yeah. All right.
If there are certain ones you want to save, just put a dot by them and then in a minute call it out. Okay?
And Rob, do you want me to point out doubles that I see already?
No, because you're going to do that in your small group.
Okay.
If you've got those alphabets and you simply say to each other, I'll call this list or I'll call that whatever, and then just make sure that you eliminate the doubles.
Can I do the people from Celtic Ties?
You want to do all of them or some of them?
I was thinking about presenting it directly on a Monday meeting over there.
Well, yeah, but that means you have to call them all too, and I think Rebecca already has Celtic Ties.
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. So you can help her recruit those people. Okay.
I thought you said I could have a microphone.
You do. I'm just saying that if you need help, then he can help you. Okay. Good. I'm sorry, but she's on the producer team. She gets through first. Are there any questions about the list? And let me just give you a big suggestion. Do not do what Carol's group did when she did her breakthrough Saturday. Do not wait until the night or two before the workshop. You know what I mean? Like, start calling now. And remember, if they will not give you a deposit, they're lying. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll be there. No, don't worry about it. I promise you, I'll be there. Crap. A deposit.
How much is the deposit?
$40.
Oh.
Full price. Right. Now I'm telling you, even if you get 11 deposits, 2 of those may stand you up anyway, even to lose $40. So I'd get a couple of extras.
Oh, so is the rule 10 people or
10 paying people or more.
But if we have,
show up and they pay.
Huh?
do they count? Does it count if they don't show up and they pay?
No, they have to show up
And
for it to
pay.
count.
So,
Show up and pay.
so both. There's a distinction.
I know.
Just paying.
I know. Trouble is that when we let you out of that one,
We create people paying and not coming.
and not coming, literally. Okay, everybody get into your small groups and take the rest of the time to handle whatever you need to handle in order to be ready for your breakthrough Saturday.
How you doing, lady?
When is Kim going to be back?
I don't remember, I thought she said September. I know she paid Lumen's Mastery Plus, so I want to try to contact her and see if she's actually really going to be spirit in it.
Hey, Marie. Well, they tell me
Yeah, with your group, do whatever you need to do.
No, you take care of that.
I would go like Lauren.
Okay, so we can make lists.
Okay. Sorry.
Awesome. Hey, Chris, I'm not even on this.
And they were surprised.
Noticing the unity stations is pretty much the same.
Okay, does anybody know Donna Waters? Are they out of there?
You may not see them.
Okay, Donna Waters. Them with this. So,
Hey, Trista.
I'm sorry, I can't come.
Why?
I am, that's my big massage thing, and I've already booked 2 Saturdays for Spirit.
That's your
and
story,
for
right?
Arts. So I'm not willing to give up my stuff.
Yeah.
Gary, are you calling Diana? Or do you want me to?
Danger.
If you want to go over and tell
Is there any way I could use the computer now?
You my old computer.
Oh, yeah.
I just take it and I'll try. I can use it.
Well, I would love to.
On the Okay, thank you.
And then when we.
yeah, and
Because
I need my,
I'll find you and then.
I got it. So I'll go walk in alley and we'll look good tonight. It shouldn't take more than a while.
yeah, you can probably see if you want to be.
We're all clear on the date and time that we're meeting.
For the meeting? Yeah, on the 7th. As we're going to 9 o'clock at my house.
Yeah.
Bring
copies. She has this one already. Do you want to go through this list as I'm going down? Because I'm going to call her.
Oh, somebody's saying.
Okay, so Donald.
Oh, boy.
Did you invite Linda?
Do you want me to leave it now?
I thought Donald was put dollar sign next to one of your columns. Okay, Rana.
Right, right.
He built it. So, and then also, as one point, All right, you're just gonna get those next. Are you walking in since you go to the your call? You know what? We'll have to.
There's no.
Well, okay, so let's start on
So,
Sunday the 7th.
Combination of
Emily,
our event
Pretty
and
good.
so there would be a fireball, so I said something over.
I was in the spirit.
I mean,
So
really
this
basic,
is
right?
Oh,
That was really good.
Here's what
Some fruits are ready, and some is not. Every now and then you say, that was not good fun.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Like this.
The cool thing about these is that you don't even have to also so they're adding a lot of drugs has like sugar added, sweetener, which is why you love the sugar. You're the ohm in the sound of it is what the yoga friends say. Where's the ohm in the sound of traveling outside? You're the ohm in your shavasana in the truck that parks outside the window.
I did
Yeah. So they have a video. See how you get it.
We were on fire. We were all getting ready to enjoy the game. There was a huge family next to us. They're making cocoa machines, and they were and I really tried, but we just I even had a pair of new speakers. We still have Oh, okay. Oh, I have to tell people, remind everybody about the change bar.
And I can walk.
Happy birthday!
Okay, of Emily's house?
Unless you want to
Oh,
get,
yeah.
she might have, right? She wants the election road. And Drake.
Oh.
Where's
In that area.
We don't have our, we have that.
next to Iron Place? Tickets $5 cover fee. They play it.
They have full hour.
My mind is
I'm going to invite Marie.
Okay, great.
Marie, would you like to come to our work Saturday? Cool. Well, we're definitely going.
Seventh, we.
Do you know if that's charged? She's my friend.
That's
My friend.
I mean, maybe. When is that?
Oh, the 6th. We get your phone. The 6th. Nothing ahead of midnight.
Saturdays.
I mean, just like maybe.
Check your red light.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, check the red light.
Yeah, or us.
We really would love to have you.
There. So yeah, there. Anyways.
Have you there?
So
Yeah.
So let's
as far as calling
there
people.
for that. Yeah, it's next.
Yeah, please don't touch that. We need to. We're not gonna touch that.
Well, now, that's, if we cover those things, we're not gonna be able to run through the process.
But I was talking to you about that.
I don't know. Do you want to play with her? Alright, we'll play with her.
Well, we're gonna get in the studio.
I know, I heard. You
You don't need to take it.
I don't know.
No, for phone calls. I guess what-
Make it fun and bring some value. I have supposed to ask him one of those, but what time of day and not remembering. Meeting just full at night, right? Until 8:45 at night.
What time do you
She
start?
said his I just use it, but is she?
So maybe- Well, okay, let me add that. That's what you're
Share.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So let me add that.
No, share that.
We might be having one that says if I'm not going to change it, do it.
Now, does anyone feel like they absolutely want someone there to help them make their calls?
I definitely get some time.
Okay. Does anyone else?
Who wants to come on strong? Okay.
Are you resisting?
No.
Unless you do.
No.
And we already have done
How about you guys?
Yeah.
You got it more than you're sure about it?
Like a good demo.
I don't
Yeah, I get it. So maybe we could do something. So matter you don't have one of us.
I mean, all right, just right for the hand up flyers and the site question.
So then our, you know, show it, how this is how.
Or we should make it
This is how you resist it,
Right.
make it be fun. This is how you just do it.
So cross off Donna, cross her off.
Yeah, whoever you guys are doing this market, it's just my list.
And then I would do it.
And that's why I say they can't. I'm just gonna, my mom said that she wants to have our, and I know that I did tell her that I needed to collect money. So I was like, kind of resisting calling her going, oh, I'm not going to have $40, you know? And so, I just didn't want to do it because I know that I agree once I got done. And then I just got it once. I did check getting another person because I had another person, but then they're like, oh, I'm actually going to out of town. So that was. I am.
I get it.
I do have Jane.
So let me make that together.
Oh, Jane, what list is Jane on? Because don't call Jane. Jane is my key.
And then we married that one.
So we're gonna have Jane
Okay.
have a conversation.
Focus.
So that's it. Okay, I'll just check your like. And then I think on the 31st of August.
Bentley.
That's the last day for deposit.
Do you want this? As long as it's the last day.
I mean, that was our goal. That is Sunday.
Do you two know anybody on this one?
That's not enough.
Yeah.
My life. Really? It's Labor Day weekend.
I know, right? Okay.
Not everybody's gone.
I'm not going to try. I just invite you every Monday or every holiday. But people go.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
One weekend. Okay, so. Do you want to get together on Sunday night?
Okay, I have.
Thomas Stevens has already done.
That's what I was
He's
saying.
done.
Thursday.
Here, you give me.
All right, so Monday night I'm
Hotel them.
Yeah,
Find
you're
them
two.
people.
The nice thing about that is that's not over yet. So, yeah, because it was at my house.
What? Or
It'd be nice if you were.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
See on transformation station list.
Okay, Unity is mine.
Is this Labor
Yes,
Day?
but Corey Mack is in Unity.
What?
The earlier.
No, that's why.
Or my hair.
I'm there like. Monday night, is that about
I'm gonna say
Okay, Monday night, I'm available at 7:30. Would you, anybody else be available at 7:30?
I tried.
Do you want to do it with us? Is that a? Where is that? Do you live around 6,400 He's on 2100 South Town.
Right, so there is a person,
Do what we can, what we
because we
can.
have a on our list, and see if it's up to you to contact.
I can't. So I teach. I'm sorry, I teach until 7. So I probably get by 7:30.
Yeah.
Well, that's the work.
Because if there are tons of other people from Unity as well, that she will be part of it.
I can be doing that. Sounds like.
You but did you have homework?
Oh, okay.
Well, can we do that later? Because we have other things that we want to talk about too.
No homework, okay, so we didn't need to sign anything?
Yeah. They all got canceled.
7:40. Emily, if you're interested, we're in closing on Monday the 1st at 7:40. So you might have.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, go throw a load of water.
I mean, we can't touch anything.
And there's a picture of over here, you know, on the.
If not,
Did Daddy come and play you that yet?
if not, I.
And so on my last, if the goal is to here,
I'll be coming from the other side. All right, so, Sandra, let me get your address.
So go to
And
the
that's on the first.
What is it?
it's 1870. Okay, so.
Who's the mother?
Emily and
Yeah. Yeah, I went in there.
And,
That's right.
okay, it's actually, that's my.
Yes.
But I'm into the content part. Oh, that's Cheryl.
I've been talking to her, but why don't you go ahead and call her? I'll call her about.
That's the big one.
Well, it's not a, really, it's a small, but it's.
museum.
I did.
No, sorry. I'm sorry.
Do you know what that new
Can you just use your phone? Okay. Well, then let's move on to the next thing. Be on the phone for 30 minutes.
Or do you want to cover that? Are you interested?
Let me think about it, and then I'm thinking that I need more, then I will. But I'll let you know, and it's on the first, so I'll for sure let you know.
Sure.
Right, sorry.
And you want to just focus on that?
And then,
Yeah. Okay, and we're committing for an hour, right? Okay. 7:40-ish.
Okay, so I went through the packet,
So before each one.
and the things that I could see that were like more logistical things, was just, who's gonna be like the space chair, who's gonna be the assistants, because I know that I'm doing a visualization, and you're also, so who's gonna be like doing the lights, you know, and tissues and stuff like that, so, you know, and the music too. Is there anyone that we wanna ask specifically to help with those things?
No, we asked Casey.
Oh, that's right, and he said, he on my desk, I was like, okay,
Okay, and then lights and all the other things, I think it'd be a good idea if we made a list of it, and then just whoever is available.
then we
like,
can
say,
route.
okay, you're like, Gary does, like, you're on lights, and it would be nice to have someone.
Yes, and I was gonna ask Moroni, because he knows that stuff.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you, is everyone okay with that, or does anyone have anyone else?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I will definitely ask.
Gary, we're gonna give you
with that all set up and everything.
That'd be great.
Well, not even that.
So you could just bring your own.
You know what?
But I was just gonna have like for the visualization, I know that there's like a folder in there, it says visualization, you click on it and it plays the music that we listen to as we do a visualization here. So I know it's pretty set up as far as watching Gary.
Gary.
So,
Wait a minute, Robin,
Or
Gary's got one. What is that? That's right.
then, participant packet. Do we want to kind of go over that slide on the seven? If we kind of go over that, and then I think should we email it or should we just have one that's here as they come? Okay, and then also I know that Aaron wants to say about emailing like kind of like that, emails us something to kind of get our mind focused on that stuff. Do we want to do something like that? Yes, okay. And is that, can we kind of put it all together on the 7th? Because if it's on the 7th, then we can email it out by probably, I mean, even the night of the 7th, if we have it all together. So they'll have it, right. Do you think that's enough time?
Yeah,
It's enough.
Right.
It's enough time. I'm wondering, we're gonna go
We're
gonna do a dress rehearsal. Once Stevens decide who goes, well, so we can take the dress rehearsal, we can decide who does live and stuff like that.
A lot of other, I get what you're saying.
I was gonna say, I don't know what other results will, but,
Right now, I'm
So it's nice to have a little bit of rubbing your nose.
Yeah.
So,
And let's figure, so when we're doing our dress rehearsal, and you know what? Because we're not doing like an empowerment dialogue and stuff like that, it might not take the whole 6 hours like planned out. So if there is more time, yeah, if there is more time, maybe we're willing to just do some of it. But let's just do like the lights and stuff. Let's just worry about that, when we all get there, and then maybe we'll rotate and actually do kind of a schedule as far as and then
Hearing
well,
about
I was thinking about the space chair. I'll ask Moroni about the music. And then we'll just rotate as far as assistants. Whoever's not presenting, then we can all kind of rotate.
with the music, I'm not, wondering if maybe we will shows, have them show us something that just music for two visualizations as far as it. I don't want to ask Ryan to be here all day.
Right?
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then we have,
Or, yeah, how much do you show? Fine. It probably sounds pretty simple. Just something that's very
Yeah.
okay. I'll talk to Moroni and see what
Player for that matter. We have.
Well, I just know our music has to be, I think our music has to be approved too.
Right.
So it would just be easier because all that I'm sure is approved. So, I don't know, but I'll just talk to him and see how he feels.
The light is like going
Right. But, so if he can't, I have so much information I'm sure would be approved.
Yeah.
So,
I'm almost wondering if it'd be easier to just, ask for this fee, and get approval for the CD and competency player and stuff. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm so beautiful. It's called Liquid Mind. It's just
Oh, Liquid
beautiful.
Mind.
generic
think that.
medication music.
Okay,
But
let's
yes,
do
it wouldn't
that.
be objectionable in
Oh,
some way.
so
volunteer would be
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's just do that.
That's what I think you would carry.
So will you bring that with you?
I don't know yet.
Actually, I don't know.
After I.
Oh, do you?
Let's see if we can get through for that.
Wow.
Yeah, do you have your laptop?
Yes, I've got to go.
I wonder if he even knows what that is. Like, this is yeah.
Let me go out to my car and get the laptop.
All you have to do is listen to 1 minute and it's all
Where is
pretty much
it?
the same.
I don't know.
I would imagine he has to listen to it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not
And then, how is everyone coming along with their presentation?
I had lots of practice. And also I'm thinking, I don't need an hour. By explaining, the benefits of laughter and leaving it, I don't think we need an hour at all. That became really clear to me as I was doing it at the Awakening. So I'm thinking 45 minutes at the most, and maybe even just 30 to 30.
Okay.
No, I'm thinking 30 would do it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at, and I think I have just an hour scheduled out for mine, but I don't know if mine will take an hour.
Remember, you only have 4 classes. You know what, if our day is way shorter than 6 hours, oh my gosh, that would be a blessing.
Well, and it'll cut off. She's okay, Carlos. We bought that for our kids, so we knew it was.
Yeah, but,
He loves her then when she comes across something. Got it. Does not forget. Yeah. So you should do.
we'll see. That's what I'll do.
With the one that we're not doing in front of the room, I mean that already shortens an hour of what we were thinking. So I mean.
So I'm there in 30 minutes, and you're thinking less than an hour.
So, but we'll see for sure on, yeah, what we sort of think. And do you feel comfortable that you'll have all of your stuff together by the 7th?
I'm definitely going to that rehearsal will solidify. Oh, okay. That would be great.
Okay, so you'll be able to just make tweaks
I
to your
don't think the
presentation. Okay, so you'll for sure have like some type of presentation, and then we can just make tweaks. Okay. And how's your presentation coming on?
Excellently.
Good. Okay. Does anyone have concerns about anything?
I do.
Is that on fire? This is it. That's on fire. No, that's on their, this is their brochure. This is
So I'm
on-
gonna scoot.
Okay, you gotta. Jerry will listen to that, so there's a chance of.
You gotta like stand.
Okay, I'm gonna stand over here. Great. 4.
I haven't heard about it.
So are we just taking these different lists and we're taking them on?
It's just looking at it, like, the other.
Well, we talked about it Monday night. So,
I'm playing Unity as ours, just
Yeah.
about everyone on there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna get.
And then we do what pages are,
Okay.
those lists.
What's yours?
And so I was saying, and then
Well, like
further
I
break
have
them
this
up.
list from home. I like bows on there.
Oh, he's my friend.
Right, so,
But you wouldn't be calling him because it's
Good.
really
Yeah.
you are.
right,
Yeah, I'm calling both.
well, P,
He's my
right, and he's a P, which falls in
Where I work.
K
Yeah.
to R.
Then where my house is sitting, right?
Oh.
His first name.
I automatically last name.
I know you said equal status, so.
But these are organized, first name.
The whole place will be there.
alphabetically.
That would make
So it's probably first name.
Or Saturday or Sunday.
Hey, you guys,
Saturday and night.
quick question. I know we all did the alphabetical thing. You guys are going off of last names, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure.
These are alphabetized like first name.
Oh, good enough.
Well, we've gone by last names, whether, however, they're alphabetized.
Okay. Good.
Actually, I'll make 5 copies.
Are you gonna erase that?
Hey.
Oh, wait.
No, she's out in the hall.
She's out in the hall.
Hey,
But she looks like she's
R-O-D.
leaving. You need to get home.
W-Y-R-O-D
everybody,
at MSN.com.
for leaving. Hey, Sunday, the 31st of August is Orte's birthday,
Hey,
and I want to do something at Liberty Park
Is Rodney gonna be here for
on Sunday.
As in this Sunday?
Huh?
As in this Sunday?
this Sunday.
This Sunday.
And what time is it at?
I do not know yet.
Okay.
I will try to reorganize it.
We'll stay in touch.
Yeah. But
I'm not gonna be here.
And then you start talking about.
so that's the week without me and my daughter.
That is correct.
That's the week without her.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't. I had so much. I had you up here. No, I had you up here. Now I do not know where you are, but you're not up here.
Okay. I'm actually getting over here and stuff for that. So I'm gonna take my bags and I'm gonna migrate. Unless there's a, oh, you know what? I'm gonna migrate.
Oh, they have to arrange that. Oh, you need to do something on paper.
I'm always at this point, I'm like, okay.
I am too. I'm so ready to go home.
Well, they have one about 6.
Oh, so.
So I'm right behind you.
I'm gonna get Gary to see if he'll
Sammy, do you feel like we need to talk about anything else or that?
No, I know. I think we have. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of seeing where we're at with the flyer, and that's what turned out to work on.
Right. So I'm really close. Tristan had down the info that I was gonna put in here.
Careful.
She's out. We'll get there in a moment.
What's the name of the song?
Liquid Mind.
Are you familiar with that?
What is it?
Liquid Mind?
Mind. No.
Okay. Try to ask to see.
It's really beautiful and generic.
Meditation.
Ambience minimus.
Actually, you don't need to start with me.
Thanks, Garrett.
Sorry, you had to pull all up.
The music can be used for visualization.
All right.
Trista's in the hall with Shayla and Rebecca and Casey.
So what pieces of information are missing from our flyer?
Hey, by the way, if anybody has a flyer, you need to get to me, email it to me, so that I can send it to people. Because I've already had several people who want to know what the next thing is. I don't have anything to say.
We're working on it.
I'm very close.
Gary, I'm going to email that to you right now. Don has it.
Emily gets here. Yeah, he does.
Because I want to leave somebody the key so I can take off.
Oh. I kind of want to go home and take.
Okay. Who's going to be here as late as anybody? Who is going to be here as late as anybody? So I can give you the keys and let you lock up.
Don't write on the left.
I will be if Trista will be. And Trista has keys.
She does have keys?
I think she
Oh,
does.
from the time we did the relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let me verify that with her, or when she comes back. Then
Okay.
All about Casey, I'll give you the keys.
I think it's just a gum wrapper that's been rolled out.
Enrollment goals?
Your presentation. Do you have?
Well, yeah,
It would be more
camera to record.
I have an idea.
It's kind of pointless practicing the space which we're actually using.
Can you make a commitment of when you would have that
All that
information?
So, this is what I have.
By the time we do our.
So you'll have it done by the 7th?
Yeah.
Is that a commitment that I can hold you to, at least having it done?
I mean, I know we can use it, but you don't have to use the music that's already there.
Click on zero.
Go ahead, I don't want to. I'm busy.
Okay, that's where it is.
Yeah, I'm busy, so I know I've got tons of music.
Let's not
Okay.
burden ourselves or wrap our brains.
All right.
The song costs.
You're just,
oh.
you're just doing that bottom part.
Yeah. I am